Over the past few months, and especially over the past month, as many of us have been covering the Stephen Hayes trial, there's been a lot of reporting going on using the Twitter. Not the Twitter, using Twitter. And it's kind of a new phenomenon. It's the latest tool that reporters have really in their toolbox. And we're here today to talk about how it's being used, whether it's being used effectively. Joining me now is Rick Hancock, of course, of Fox Connecticut, and also reporter George Colley, who has been a very active Twitterer over the past few weeks, certainly. Thanks, both of you, for being here. First of all, Rick, if you could talk about what do you think of reporters using Twitter, and are they using it effectively, in your opinion?
Oh, they're using it effectively. They should be using it more. They're probably long overdue in using it. But that being said, in this particular case, first of all, this is such a horrific trial, but it's caused and created a lot of emotion, and people are following it. And that is really what you're talking about when you're talking about social media networks and the internet in general. People engage, they interact, they want to really be involved, which is taking journalism to a whole new realm that we've never seen before. So I think that how we're using it here at CT1 Media with the Current and Fox CT and you reporters and Helen has been fantastic.
Right. And George, talk about how you have been using it over the past couple of weeks as you've reported from the Hayes trial.
Well, I think it started off as being kind of a distribution source. If you had stories you want to get out, you would post it. What you're seeing now with, I believe this is the first death penalty trial. No death penalty trial has ever had cameras in a courtroom. What you're getting here with Twitter, with these instant updates, is as clear a picture as you would get without actually having cameras. And as you said, what you're seeing here with CT1 Media is it's not perfect yet, but you're getting instant tweets as to what's happening inside the trial. You're then getting live updates on television at 11 a.m., at 4 p.m. You're getting the roundups at 10 and 11. You're having Elaine Griffin and Ellen Hubanis writing columns while it's going on and for the next morning. So you're really seeing that integration happen here in this trial.
And when you think about it, Twitter really has only been on the scene for a couple of years, really, literally a couple of years ago. I also teach at the University of Connecticut, and when I introduced Twitter to my students 2 years ago, a lot of them didn't know, what it was, what it does, and how to use it. You tweet your Twitter or your twit, things like that.
Even as you say that, maybe we should tell people, for people who don't know, how would you summarize it?
Twitter is, has been defined as a micro-blogging platform where you're limited to 140 characters. You can embed links. You can retweet other people's tweets. And it's more than just, hey, I'm going here, or just, very casual. Twitter is very powerful. I personally use it even more than Google when I'm searching for things because of the social aspect. If I know that I'm following you and you're presenting news to me and giving me news, you're a journalist. You're someone I know. You're someone I trust. Google could be gamed. People spend a lot of money on search engine optimization to try to get higher rankings. I trust Lori Perez, and I trust the things that she's tweeting. And coming from a journalistic organization like the Current or Fox CT, I trust that even more. So it's adding incredible value.
I've also thought over the past few weeks as we've been at the Hayes trial, and you're immediately writing a sentence and putting it out there, that I think it's almost the truest form of reporting, because you want to be immediate and you really only have, a couple seconds to write. And so you write automatically what's coming out of your heart and out of your head, and it's almost unfiltered, which can be risky.
Which is the criticism. I think we have advocates on the panel right now, so to try to wear the other hat of trying to, what are some of the downsides, is because the immediacy. But that's always been a problem or a concern for us as professional journalists, that we want to make sure that we get it right. We write the first draft of history. Right. Sometimes we don't always get the history correct, but our job as journalists is to be as accurate as possible at all times.
Well, and I think George would agree that, as a professional journalist, you already have some level of filtering embedded in you. So, I'm not going to write certain things on there. I know I'm going to present it as fairly and accurately as possible.
And what you're also seeing with this trial is not only are we writing instantaneously, but we're also getting questions from people out there that are following us. So if there's something that maybe we weren't clear about, or something they want more details about, they're hearing straight from us inside the courtroom. So we have that opportunity just as instantaneously as we may put something on there to then correct it. And I think it's also starting the debate. There's going to be a lot of talk about this, I think, when it's said and done. And as I said, I don't think it's going to be perfect in what we're doing, but people are following this. They can't get enough information, and they're getting it as it happens.
And the point that George made, you can't emphasize it enough, that getting people involved and engaged in what we do in professional journalism, with all the concerns that we have about our futures, getting people involved, engaged in news is absolutely fantastic, despite the horrific nature of this particular case.
Are there other ways that you think that we could be using Twitter?
Oh, definitely. Twitter is a great research tool. For me personally, I haven't really done a story in the last 2 or 3 years that that it came from Twitter or Facebook or social media blogs. So just as a reporting tool of culling resources and getting story ideas, great. And it's also a great research tool. You know, I sent you a tweet about embedding the hashtags.
Right.
The reason why that was so important is because it's a great research. You can go back and just capture all the tweets from all the reporters across Connecticut for that particular story and really capture a compelling story and a narrative that you really didn't have before.
Right. George, how do you envision using it over the next?
Well, I think what happens here, what's happened over the last week and a half and what may happen over the next few weeks with this trial is going to be a real test for us as to how we use it. It's not going to be just inside a trial, but if you're on a breaking news situation, as people start to follow you and people start to trust Twitter and trust what you're writing there, you're going to be able to give them all the information and then give that roundup. Right. So you may be able to, in print, what Helen is doing with her columns, you know, you're following her all day long. You're getting to know her as a person, as to her reactions, and then you're reading her columns. And I think that what she is getting as well as journalists is you're getting a sense from the folks who are writing to you what they're feeling, what they want to know, and I think it's helping us present a more complete story.
It definitely is more complete because you put things when you tweet. You know, I comment on how long the line is that we have to wait in the morning. You know, we can take a picture and include that. You know, we talk about one of the tweets. I mean, this might seem, especially on a death penalty trial, it might seem minor, but I got comments about it because I commented that one of the jurors sneezed today, and the judge said Gesundheit, and I was like, how often do you hear that? And then I got 8 people saying that's right. You never hear people say that. I mean, it's just the little. It's creating the environment and the atmosphere of the room in a more complete way.
Level of intimacy that we've never really been able to share before, which is, again, one of the strong benefits of social media.
Yeah, it's excellent.
I was going to say, I think also it gives the viewers an opportunity to get to know the reporter. You know, so often we're on there for 2 minutes a night. We're in their homes. We're in their living rooms. They're now getting to know us in a more personal level, which I think can only help.
And one of the dangers, while I was reading your tweets on Thursday during the trial, Facebook went down for the second straight day, and people are becoming very, very dependent on these tools. So that's just something to note.
Yeah, interesting. Well, thanks. It's an interesting discussion. I appreciate you both being here today. Do not forget, if you missed something here on The Real Story, you can now watch it online by going to fox61.com. You can also catch us on YouTube, and be sure to please follow us on Twitter. Thanks for watching this week's edition of The Real Story. We'll see you here again next week.